Welcome to Try to Thrive, the podcast where passion meets endurance and every finish line is just the beginning. We're here to inspire, challenge, and share our journey through swim, bike, run, and beyond.
Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Try to Thrive. Today is a special episode because I have a guest with me, and the guest is Mico. Mico will share his experience about his first Ironman 70.3 in Duisburg. And with that being said, welcome Mico.
Great to have you. Hi. Really nice to be here. I was just actually listening to your podcast a few days ago, so super excited to be here and really excited to talk to you as well about triathlon.
Great. And first of all, congratulations for finishing your first Ironman under 6 hours. That's really impressive.
Thank you. And I can only give that back. I've been following you on Strava as well, and I think you just finished your second one this weekend as well. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, exactly. It was a tough weekend, but today is not about me. It's about you. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So where should I start? I'm 29 years old, German, living in Munich, and just like you, and this is actually how we met, I work at Cisco. I remember us meeting about a year ago at an Allianz event in Frankfurt, where I think I talked to you about your watch, and then we got into this whole topic of triathlon. And now look at us a year later. We're looking at our Strava posts and seeing how we come here. Apart from that, I've always done sports. When I was young, I did competitive swimming. I lived in the US for 5 years, and I was in a swimming team. Since then, though, after my teens, I've been going to the gym a lot. So that was kind of what I was doing around that time. And I think in COVID times, I didn't do any sports at all. And then afterwards, I kind of decided I needed to change something, and that's where I came to triathlon. But yeah, been living in Munich for 4 years almost now, and super happy. It's a great place to live. And apart from that, yeah, I think that's most of it to myself right now.
Great. And I was thinking before we started this episode, I was thinking, how do we actually get into the topic? And it's so funny because actually I was thinking exactly the same. Like, yeah, we engaged each other because we were wearing a Garmin watch, right? So someone must have been into sports here. So we just started the conversation, right? Cool.
Yeah.
And actually it's great. So after 1 year, we both achieved our goals with some great results. And talking about results, I was looking at your results, and you said already that you have been a pro swimmer, or have been swimming for quite some time. And I can see that because I think you finished in 33 minutes, which is impressive. Tell us about the swim. How was it?
Yeah, sure. So I think leading up to the swim was also super exciting. In the race on Sunday, we had to kind of put ourselves into groups right next to the water, kind of split up into the times that we were going to swim. And that was already interesting because going up to this race, I had read that, it maybe it's a strategic decision to put yourself in a faster group so that you can kind of draft a little bit off people. But that was exciting. I put myself in the group of 30 to 33 minutes, kind of exactly where I also ended up on the swim, which was nice. And the swim was a rolling start, so not everybody started at the same time. I've never had the other experience of everyone starting at the same time, but this rolling start was nice. 3 people started every, I think, 5 or 10 seconds, which really made it easy and made it nice to start the race. And then we started swimming in a regattabahn, which is like a rowing, kind of from sports games, Olympic games. It's just a long rowing pool where the rowers usually do their stuff. So that's where we were swimming. And it was good. The swim was really good. Not too much fighting and kicking as I had read about and saw in videos before the race. So that was all good. of course, sometimes people are lying on top of you and kind of taking the turns a little bit weird, and you have to
Exactly.
fight your way up front again. But yeah, I came out of the swim in about 33 minutes and was
That's
quite happy with
impressive.
that. Yeah.
I would love to finish in that time. But one question, did you actually said you enjoyed the swim?
Yeah, I enjoyed the swim. Yeah, I think I
All
enjoyed
right.
it a little bit too much because after the race, saw that my heart rate was just a little bit too high. So if that's a point for improvement for myself, I would have maybe been able to take it a little bit easier. But it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and actually, when we talk about triathlon, and I had conversation with a lot of people, the worst part for every triathlete that jumps into triathlon is swimming. But I think if you've grown up and you really know how to swim and you learned the technique from the beginning, then it makes a whole difference and the whole other experience later on during triathlon.
Mhm. I expect so, yeah. Um, and it's just 30 minutes, right? Or 40 minutes. I think the big part, the main part is only starting then afterwards.
No,
But
exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
So now take us on your emotions. So you finished your first part swimming. Have you been exhausted? Because you said your heart rate was a little bit too high. Have you been exhausted coming out of the water and then jumping on the bike? How was it for you on the transition zone? And how did you got on the bike then?
So I didn't feel too exhausted at that moment. It's interesting. Sometimes you look at your watch and it doesn't really fit to how you feel. Maybe that's connected to adrenaline and
Sure.
just the race experience. But I think my average heart rate was around 170, which is way too high for the beginning of the race. But all good. I came out of the water and it was quite a long transition. I took almost, I think, 9 or 10 minutes for the transition because we had to run 800 meters, then go to the transition zone. Um, I took the run pretty easy, knowing that I still have a long day ahead of me and I needed to reduce my heart rate again. But I felt good. I was excited for the bike. The weather was really nice. We had a really nice Sunday. It was kind of up to 26, 27 degrees in the afternoon, but at that time in the morning, it
Perfect.
was still super fresh and blue sky. And yeah, I was just excited for the day.
Cool. And then on the bike, how was it? Did you train a lot on the
Um,
bike before? Could you use the pace and the power that you planned, or were there some unexpected things that happened on the bike?
So in general, I was happy with my bike. I think I had an average of 31.7 kilometers per hour, which was I always averaged in my thoughts of the day at around 30. So I was faster than expected. Um, but I had just gotten Swift like 6 weeks or something before this race. So of course I was beginning to kind of understand also watts, and I had a watt goal in mind that I didn't quite meet. I think it was around 175 watts, and I averaged 165, or a little bit higher, maybe 168, something like that. So it's interesting because when you're in this race, you have so many numbers on your computer, and but then you also have this feeling of the race, and you kind of still want to push, but you have to be careful about what you do because you know you're still going to race for another 4 hours, and yeah. So in general, to your question, yeah, I was very happy with my outcome of the bike. Being on the bike for almost 3 hours is interesting. You have to kind of settle in mentally. I don't know how you do this on your races, but somehow I just zone out and I just push. And uh, it's interesting. The 3 hours go by really quickly. And yeah, I think they were pretty good.
Yeah, at the beginning of the race, you almost think like, oh my God, it will be like a 5, 6 hours. That is very, very long. But when you're
Yeah,
really into that race, the adrenaline kicks in, the whole cheering crowd kicks in, and everything gets so fast.
yeah,
And during the race, especially for me, I go through so much emotions. It's being from happy, being angry, being excited, being close to cry and everything. So that's what, like mentally, it's a tough game. I don't know
yeah.
how it was for you, but at least for me, all my races that I have done so far, they are very emotional because you have a long time and you go through everything. How was it for you, Miko?
fully agree. For me, the bike ride wasn't that emotional yet, but when I came to the run, there were also emotional waves that I went through, and I had my mother was there, my girlfriend, and my brother, and so I had quite some family members on the side of the road. And every time I saw them, I would get this emotional wave. And then, of course, the whole perseverance, pushing yourself, and going a bit deeper in the run now. I think like the last 5K were a real push for me, and I kept having to tell myself and push myself for the next 100 meters and the next 100 meters. And I think, yeah, it's an emotional roller coaster, as you say. And when you then finish it at the end, it's such a rewarding experience. It's amazing.
Exactly. And for that race in Duisburg, were there multiple laps for the run?
Mhm.
Okay.
So there were 3 laps in total, so around 7 kilometers each. And then they always so the first part of the lap was always going through this football arena where also the race ended. So every time you kind of went into this arena, you could see some people finishing the race already on the left side. So on the one hand, that was motivating. On the other hand, you looked at your watch and you realized, oh shit, there's still quite some kilometers that I have to do. But yeah, there were 3 laps in total.
Yes, and especially what I recognized is it helps a lot when there are multiple laps because, as you said, you have support with you, and the support helps you a lot, especially at the run, where for
Yeah,
me at least it gets tough. It gets very, very tough because you're exhausted. You are already, I don't know, like 3, 4 hours in the race, and then you see them all the time, and they say you cannot stop right now. You can't give up. You need to push through, right?
yeah.
And that really helps a lot. And there are a lot of lessons learned, I think, that you can take as well from the race. But one important thing with every triathlon is also the nutrition.
Yeah.
Can you give us some insights how you tackle the nutrition, especially for beginners? They are sometimes unsure how to do it, what kind of strategy to follow. What did you do?
So I have to admit, I I put this point of nutrition too late, way too late on my race planning. But I had always been kind of on long runs taking a gel or two, but I'd never really started thinking too much about how I do it for 6 hours. But the way I did it was, especially on the bike, I decided to fuel over my hydration purely. I took 2 gels before my swim. I didn't take anything in T1, and then I had 3 water bottles on my bike that each had around 80 gram of carbs in them. They were like the Martin, how do you call them? The mixes that you put into water.
Yeah.
I think,
Okay. This is a
yeah,
pulver that you mix with water and then it dissolves and then, all right. So you had your own
exactly,
flasks and bottles filled with that special drink. Okay. With carbs
exactly,
loaded.
yeah.
Okay.
So then, yeah, I did that. I knew I was going to race for about 3 hours on the bike, so 1 per hour. I could kind of plan that pretty well. And then the last bottle had also 100 milligrams of caffeine in it. So I was a bit pushed for the run then, going out. And in the run, I had 2 or 3 gels with me, but they were giving out Martin gels as well. So I tried to take those. I only was able to eat about 3 gels for the 2 hours, which was okay. I didn't feel like I was losing energy towards the back, but I think that's something I would need to work on in the future as well to be able to absorb and take more fueling during the run.
I have exactly the same issue, and I faced that with my first Ironman here in Krakow. That my really strategy was not very well planned, because, as you said, when I go on a longer bike ride, on a longer run, I usually don't think that's necessary to take some gels with me. But
Yeah,
now I know it is necessary because it gives me some insights and it gives me some ideas how I will feel at the race day.
yeah, and it's something you have to train as well, right? I was just watching a video of Christian Blumfeld yesterday, and they have the Ironman World Championship in Nice on Sunday, right? And he was telling the camera that he's planning to take 180 gram of carbs per hour, which is ridiculous, right? And that's
That's a
something that he
lot.
didn't just start
Yeah.
being able to do, right? You have to train your gut, and um, yeah, well, that's very, very impressive. I have no idea how he does that.
Yeah, me neither. That's really impressive. Yeah, and
Yeah,
especially you need to adjust your body, that your
yeah,
all the digestion system and everything got used to it, and it's not a surprise at a race day, and that can actually ruin your day pretty well if you have some issues during the race.
how do you do it? Do you also take mostly liquid carbs, or do you try to eat a banana or a bar in between?
Yeah, so at some point, for sure, I'm getting hungry. I know that.
Yeah.
And regarding the gels, I try to keep them liquid. So I put
Mhm.
all my gels into one bottle. So I
Yeah.
just can drink it from the bottle. So I
Mhm.
don't need to deal with opening the gels and then maybe you losing it, which could actually disqualify you if you don't put it into the litter zone.
Yeah.
So I'm getting out of that risk. I just put it into the bottle. That it gives me the safe space. And then this race last weekend, I tried to use some protein bars because my
Okay.
body knows protein bars for a long, long time. And that's why I said, this is a safe spot for me. Let's try it. What I didn't know is they were out of chocolate from the outside. And guess what? Obviously, they were melting at the back of my jersey. And that was a little bit of a hassle, but that's a lesson learned. Maybe next time I take something that has no chocolate from outside.
Yeah.
But that was pretty good for me. So that worked very well because last time on my first race, I had so much issues with my stomach and it got like blown up. It wasn't used for that much amount of gels. And this time I think my body reacted in a better way.
Mhm. Interesting. Yeah, everybody does it a little bit different at the end, right? And I think that's also a learning that everybody has to do themselves to figure out what works for their body.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Now, this was, I think, one part of your journey. I think the journey will not stop here because triathlon is something, and I would like to get some insights about you, why you started with triathlon. Because actually, if you want to be healthy and if you want to continue with that, the journey just starts with the first one. How is it? How will be the journey for Mico?
It's a great question. So I think we were talking before about what I've done in the past, and I mentioned I did an Olympic triathlon last year, and now kind of pushed my way into this one at the 70.3 distance this year. Um, I think I started triathlon last year just to be more fit, but also to not only be fit in one thing, to be fit in multiple distances. And I think that doing these three sports at the same time just is different. It makes me feel so healthy and so fit and gives me drive as well. And when I was going to the gym weekly for many years, it was always the same thing. You would go and then you would train chest and then legs and whatever. But this gives me such a variety in my week, in my month, and my training. And if I don't feel like going for a run one day, then I'll go for a swim, right? And that kind of motivates me as well because it's this mental justification. If you're not willing to do this, then do the other thing at least, and that's really good. Um, I didn't train too much for my Olympic distance, of course, maybe a couple times a week. I signed up for my 70.3, and also for many months I was just working out 3 times a week. Nothing too serious, maybe 3, 4, 5 hours a week. And then in the last 2 to 3 months before the race, I really started getting and finding more motivation for this, and I was working out maybe 8 hours a week, sometimes more, sometimes less. Um, and looking at that motivation that I found in those 2 or 3 months before the race, I want to do more. I want to keep doing this. I want to keep that
Right,
motivation at that level, right?
right.
Um, so that's a discussion in itself. What are my next goals? I don't really know yet, but I know I want to keep doing this. I really enjoy it. I love the race. I love the vibes. I love the people there. Everyone was so nice, and um, yeah. So my journey will stay in triathlon, and let's see. what the next goals are.
Great to hear. And I think we will observe you and maybe then join you on that journey together. So you never know. But great. I mean, for me also it's very inspiring and gives you a lot of energy on a daily basis, right? But you said you trained like 8 to 9 hours, and especially for beginners, it can be a little bit challenging. Do you had some challenges when it comes to the preparation and the training before?
I think the whole concept around work is always difficult. In January, February, I was in a very tough work situation where I had to work long hours. And I have to admit, those were also weeks where I didn't train very much. So kind of balancing that with work is hard. I think you travel a lot for work as well. That's something that is hard. And traveling for work doesn't mean that I go to bed at 8. It's always connected with some dinner or some drinking. So that's difficult as well. And I've also realized that my interests and my free time have changed. I'm not drinking as much alcohol anymore. I'm not so interested in going out and partying anymore, right? And this is not something I did intentionally. It was just like a gradual shift that came over time. So those are all challenges, yes, but everything kind of works at the end, and I guess you just have to be happy with what you tried to do and achieve when you start your race, and just accept how your preparation went. And if you want to improve on that, you can do it for the next race, I guess.
So that also means that starting with triathlon and the training itself, it not makes you feel better because it also changed your lifestyle. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yes.
Perfect. And this is a perfect example. And that's what we are trying to encourage people to join this journey, to become a better person on a daily basis and also have a healthier lifestyle. So awesome. Great to hear that. And, this podcast is not only for people that are doing it for a long time. This is also for people that are just new joiners like us. Have you done any mistakes that you regret, whether it was in your race or in your preparation, that you can give as an advice to everyone who would like to do and achieve the same goals?
I mean, there's many ways to improve on what I did, but mistakes that I did. So, I mean, I guess it really depends how serious you are about this. But so maybe turning it around, one thing that I'm happy I didn't do is become too serious too quickly. I just kind of embraced that I signed up, that I had a motivation, and then I'm kind of training as I like. And now going forward and being more serious, you mentioned this before, you have a trainer even, right? So I think before I get a trainer, I would probably get a trainings plan first. So far, I've always just done a lot of research online, but I've never committed to a trainings plan. So it's not a mistake not to have a trainings plan. I think I wouldn't put it like that, but it's definitely giving you a lot of structure and a lot more dedication. I think if you have something to wake up to in the morning and say, this is what I have to do today, instead of kind of training as you feel and let's put in some intervals in the run because I feel like it. So I think for me to improve, I think I could do a big jump by just having a trainings plan and some more dedication to my workouts.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can highly recommend that because I just started after my first race having a training plan, and that gives me so much structure because it was like you said, I woke up in the morning, looked outside of the windows like, oh wow, today is a great day. Weather is good, so let's go on a bike. Or on the weekend, let's go on a longer bike. Or I don't feel like going running today, let's go swimming. So it was very, very frequent, flexible, and there was really no structure. Starting from having a person preparing a plan for you, it's a totally thing as well in your head. So it's a totally mind changer because there's someone sitting down, writing a plan for you that already sets your expectation to meet that goals, and you need to do it. So then it is really, I'm getting this plan Sunday. So Sunday evening, I sit down. I can't wait to get that plan, sitting down, waiting for that email. And then I say, okay, this is how my week looks. And then I need to plan everything around it. All right. So then Monday morning swimming, evening biking, and so on. So it really gives a good structure. And I think it kind of also reflected personally for me in the results that I could improve myself. And but there's still a long way to go.
How does it work if you now go to Las Vegas on a business trip, or because we have our sales kickoff there once a year for everyone else, or you have some sort of work or private commitment somewhere where you cannot train for 3 or 4 days? Is this something that you can give your trainer as a feedback, and he can kind of change and build the schedule around it, or does he say, Chris, you need to commit to what I gave you, figure it out? How does that work for that interaction with your trainer?
That is a very good question. So especially when we had the sales kickoff, I told him, look, I will be in Las Vegas. I will be most probably not able to go to a swimming pool and have my training sessions over there. But he gave me some other exercises that I need to do. So it's not that I can't, that I'm skipping something, but I'm working around that way. But then the boomerang came back because the week before the race, which always, you would cool down a little bit and take it easy. Guess what? It get harder for me than in Vegas because I missed some of the more important sessions. So I had long bike runs that I couldn't do there, long swimmings. I think I had like 3 swims over 2 kilometers. So, the training boomerang comes back. So it's not something as an excuse that, you can't do the training because of, but it's always a trade-off. There might be reasons why I can't do that specific training, but I think most important is giving the feedback back to the trainer, telling him and letting him know, look, this is what I couldn't do. And then he can figure out how to solve that and how to fill the gap.
Interesting. Exciting as well, because that makes it able to, just customize to your life, the trainings plan. Yes, there's always going to be something in our lives that comes up.
Absolutely.
And I think if you have someone who's a professional who tells you how to best navigate this situation, it's super helpful.
Yeah. But again, it's a commitment.
Yes.
And also it's a commitment from your trainer, and you want to meet the commitment expectation, so you need to do it. This is how I program my mind now, that it needs to be done. And of course, if there is an urgent thing, then you can plan around it. But it's important to keep consistency. Yeah.
Cool. And
nice.
Of course, you're paying for it, right? In the moment where you don't follow this commitment or this plan, then you're asking yourself, why am I paying this money?
Exactly. So that's another factor that keeps me consistent.
Cool.
All right. It was great having you. And is there any one last advice that you can give someone?
I think I would say just sign up for your first race. I remember being super nervous when I signed up for Duisburg. I was sitting alone on my couch with sweaty hands, thinking, I'm paying so much money for this. This is stupid, right? Imagine you can't finish the whole half marathon and do this. But once you have that race in your calendar, something changes in your mentality. You start preparing for it mentally, and it just motivates you, or it did for myself at least. I can only talk about me right now. So just sign up. I think that's the most important thing. And if it's not a triathlon, then start with a 10K race in your neighborhood, or a little swim somewhere, and just start moving, start doing it. And I think you'll meet people along the way. And I think it's such an incredible thing to do that's going to change your life. And sign up and go for it. That's what I would say.
Exactly. Great. Sign up. I like that one. And it doesn't need to be an Ironman or half Ironman. It can also be a sprint distance, or it can be Olympic distance, as you started as well, your journey. So the first steps are almost the steps that are really hard, but signing up shows consistency, and then you're going to start training.
Yep.
Great. Mico, it was a great conversation. We will follow your journey, and we are excited to see what comes up next. And with that being said, thank you everyone for joining the session. And I forget one thing. someone told me that you're looking into for a long time already to buy yourself a new watch. So, do you think that will happen? Is it a reward after this Ironman?
Yeah, looking for a long time at the Phoenix 8. I have the Forerunner 522 from Garmin right now. It's great.
Right.
It's great. It's still working, but I will definitely upgrade one of these days for
Okay.
sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for that
I wonder
one.
who told you that.
That will be a secret. All right.
Thank you
Then
for having me, Chris. It was fun and good talking to you.
thank you so much, Mico. With that being said,